Yeah, Graham. So welcome to Business Spectator. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Now, a big change is going on in aviation at the moment. The Qantas deal with Emirates and the Virgin proposal to take over Tiger, or at least to buy 60% of Tiger. Do you think these things will have much of an impact on the travel market?
I think generally most of it, certainly from our point of view, is pretty positive, and I'd like to think from the customer's point of view it looks pretty good as well. The Qantas Emirates, I think it's pretty obvious that Qantas was struggling, particularly in the European market, and Emirates is such a big player there now that an alliance like this, should help both airlines. But I think the speculation is whether Emirates will will start off the dominant player, and will it become really dominant or not is one of the questions. And I think.
What do you think? Will they become more dominant as a result of this deal?
Look, it depends on quite a few things. Certainly from our point of view, there's a few different areas that we need to look at. In other words, what sort of what's our earn on it, and what our incentives are to push which airline. My gut feeling is yes, it's quite likely that Emirates will become quite dominant over time, but that's not necessarily a bad thing for Qantas. I think for that part of the world, being in bed with someone like Emirates is and having tie-ups with the frequent flyers and all the other things is probably a positive for Qantas anyway.
Well, what sort of commissions do each of them pay now?
Oh, look, believe it or not, that's a commercial secret, and it's so secret.
Come on, Graham.
I can't tell you exact figure, but most of these international carriers, we get around the 10% in margin, and with some other incentives that rely on volume and volume growth, that sort of thing. So it does vary a bit airline to airline, but it's in that vicinity.
Graham, whether it's international or domestic, we've seen a lot of capacity coming into the market. I assume that's good for you?
Yeah, it's hard to know. Obviously, there's been an element of deflation over the last 20 years, and that has its positives and negatives. Obviously, the positives is it's cheaper for people to travel. The negatives are that growth targets are harder to get for us. But there's no doubt extra capacity, particularly international, particularly big players like Emirates, has made the international market, particularly to Europe, very competitive and great deals for customers. And domestically, pretty much the same. Even, I think, coming back to a virtually two major owners in the domestic route, but probably 4 or 5 airlines, is probably not a bad thing either. It's a sort of market that with 2 low costs or 2 major low costs and 2 mainstream airlines, I think it's generally going to be good for the market. It's still going to be very competitive. But Australia's a sort of market. It's a pretty big market. I don't think it's a small market, but four airlines competing in different positioning areas, I think is probably pretty good.